Welcome to Bear Lifestyle, the podcast where we speak up and speak out about all taboo topics and make them normal and acceptable.
You are invited to be curious, to try something new, and stay open to provocative perspectives.
I'm Simona Spark, a best-selling author, international speaker, transformational coach, and so many other things. Beyond anything else, I'm a woman who stopped following other people's rules and started creating my own.
I'm Carolyn Marcos, a life coach on a mission to break the labels and expectations that others place on us. I am a woman who used to hate her own body until I dared to become the sexy goddess I am today.
In this space, we are going to get naked by stripping away insecurities, self-judgments, and all kinds of limitations, and reach in for the essence of who we really are, Bear.
Beautiful, authentic, real, and ever evolving. Let's begin.
So good, so good. Welcome everyone. Welcome back. We are so happy you're here and we celebrate you. Clink, 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 ting, ting. So I asked Carolyn, what do you want to talk about? And she says, what about orgasm? I'm like, I'm ready for it all the time, anytime.
Right.
So let's go there.
Let's go there. Let's talk about orgasms. Let's talk about what feels good about them. Let's talk about what they do for us. Let's just talk about them because they're juicy and they're fun and they feel good.
Yes. So, not to be I don't know, something downer. I don't know what the expression is. Debbie Downer.
There you go, Debbie Downer.
Yeah. Okay, I guess it.
There's no Debbies here.
There is no Debbie's here. Just to include in the conversations the times when we did not have orgasms, the times where we did not know what they are, the times that okay, I'm gonna stop saying we and I'm gonna say I thought
You can
that
say we.
I thought that it's absolutely normal to just have 1, 2 a year. And they were like, whoa, I'm a fortunate woman. That's where my sex life started. I don't know about other people, but that's what it started. And it was just like, hey, you have to have sex because that's what you do when you have a boyfriend. And especially when you're married, that's what you do. And probably you do it in a weekend because that's where you do it. And you just kind of sit there and you just pretend that it's good even if it's not. And then when something happened that is like, oh, I think that's an orgasm, but I'm not sure because I never learned about it. Nobody talked with me about it to explain it to me how that is and what that might feel like. And then it's like, oh yeah, I think I have it twice this year, and other girlfriends has none, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm the fortunate one. So that's what it started for me. Do you want to share where it started for you?
Right. Well, I did not have a really good sexual upbringing. It wasn't until later in my life, and I had girlfriends who talked about their sex lives, and I was like, I don't know what that is. I knew what it was from the perspective of I had sex, but I didn't know what it was like to enjoy the pleasure of it in my own relationships in my own body.
Mhm.
So yeah, I've had that experience where you lay there and you make the sounds that you think you're supposed to make so that the other person thinks that you're having just as good of a time as they are. And then you know, it's like, okay, yeah, that was great. It was wonderful. Oh my goodness. Like, oh, can we just do that again?
It
Yeah.
was so good, right? Like
Right. It was
big
so
fat lie.
right.
So
Right.
I want to say that just because if there are any people in our audience, a listener or viewers that have that experience, just know that you know it's okay. It's you're not alone, and
Right.
I kind of like tired of that expression. Oh, you're not alone in your misery because it is misery. The opposite of that, of pretending that you feel good in such a vulnerable, intimate space, the opposite of that is just having orgasm one after another for hours and hours, all day long, all night long. And you know what? It's possible.
It's
It's
possible.
possible, it's doable, and it's freaking amazing.
Right.
So, I will like in this episode to kind of go in and see, go in for the back of a better word, and see,
No
and
pun
see,
intended.
like what to do really and how we get from here there, like how, I mean, I know we touch a little bit on how to ask for pleasure. We also talked in a previous episode about knowing what we want and honoring our desires, and look at all the pleasure the life give us and actually experience the pleasure and embody the pleasure and the satisfaction in our own body. So our whole brain gets to be calibrated to those juicy, amazing feelings. I think that's a good foundation on top of what we talked from the very beginning, like just doing the mirror work, like loving your body and look at yourself like naked, and
Yes.
and touch yourself and learn what is it that your body need and which feels good, what part, what kind of pressure, what kind of touch, right?
Yes.
And then we take all of that into our sexual act.
Yes.
So I know we say how we get from here to there, but can we just pause at the sexual act first? Because
Yeah.
like what sex means really? What is it?
Right. What
What do we know like we have sex or we don't have sex? What that requires?
right? And does it really require what everybody says it requires? You know, because something that I've learned along the way is that we get all of our information about what sex is from pornography.
Oh, and it's such a distortion of information.
It is. It's an absolute distortion of information. And all of our bodies register pleasure in different ways. You
Right.
know, some of us could be very energetic, like it's just like the touch of the hand, you know,
Yes.
just in different places on our bodies. We need to explore that. We need to understand that for ourselves. Some of us may, you know, desire more kinky, you know, pleasures,
Yes.
and then we go into all of the judgments around that. It's like, why are we judging what is our own pleasure? If being in a kinkier situation helps you to get into that place, then go there. You
Yeah.
know, if you're a sensuous person and you need to set the mood, then do it.
Yeah.
Do that, because you may not be setting the mood for the other person, but you definitely are setting the mood for yourself. And
And that's it. That's key right there. Honor
yes,
your own desire.
honor
Like
your
you
own
need to show up
desire.
for yourself first before you expect the other person to show up for you. If you
Right.
show up for yourself and the other person show up for themselves, and there is a chemistry because it's required to be a chemistry there, then it's just like fireworks. So yeah.
It is. It
Sorry to
absolutely,
interrupt you, but I needed
no,
to say that.
no, it absolutely is. But I think, like, if we have to go and we need to make a foundation of what it is, and we need to understand our own bodies. Our bodies are complicated, you
Mhm.
know, that we have like so many sensory orgasm or organisms around our orgasm. You
Yes.
know, we have so many body parts that come into play with that. It's not just about our clit. It's not just about intercourse, but it's about all of our senses joining together
Right.
to orchestrate this amazing wave that we go through. Our body goes through a lot of transitions when we have an orgasm. But if we don't know our own female parts, and that's a whole nother topic that
Yes.
drives me crazy, is because we don't have the information that we need to be able to
Right.
understand our own bodies. But
Let's do an entire episode about that so we could go a little bit wider and deeper.
I
And
think I agree
love
with that
those
very
words
much.
with
Yep, wider and
body
deeper.
parts.
Right? You know, so but the really truly the first thing is you need to know, like, for yourself, what do you desire? What does your body like and what doesn't it like? So I truly believe that it means that we have to explore our own bodies, and we need to just
100%.
disperse with all of the taboos around self-love, self-pleasure, masturbation, all of those horrible things that have been attached to a beautiful and amazing words that just mean that our body gets to have pleasure.
Yeah, I was telling to a guy I'm dating, and I was telling to a guy we talk about sex, and he asked like, how often do you have sex? And I say daily. And then he goes, first question, not even thinking, how many people do you date? And like that alone is like just having sex doesn't mean that you have it with another person. And having sex doesn't require intercourse. It's just the pleasure of the body that might take you to an orgasm is not the the goal,
Oh,
right? But has the potential to take you there.
yes.
So it could be, as Carolyn was talking, and I would like to go deeper into that probably in another episode because it's so big, or maybe seven other episodes of
Right?
like the different type of erotism, if you wish. I, as you and we already talked about it, we're just gonna make it public here. I'm a energetic lover. It's how I experience a sexual pleasure, and there is a kink into it, and that part of the kink is what threw me off all these years. On top of a lot of sexual trauma that was living in my body, but having those thoughts, those desires, this curiosity of how that might be like that is not talk of or thought.
Yes.
It makes me it made me feel like it's something wrong with me, right? So you get to experience pleasure by brushing your hair.
Yes.
You get to experience of orgasm by brushing your hair if that's the type of erotism that you experience that match who you are, right? So then how much more it's expanding there because you get to have an orgasm and feel pleasure and have sex by yourself with a person, with more than one people, every day, every month, once a year, whatever you want. There is no rules, nothing is wrong, as nothing is it's required. It's like whatever the hell you want,
Right? When we take
just
that,
feel good.
exactly, we just have to take that judgment out of all of it. It's like our pleasure is our pleasure. It's the space that our body desires to be in. It's the space that it's our own, and nobody and no one should be able to take it from us or tell us what our pleasure really is.
Ooh, that one right there. Like for those of you that needed to hear that. What feels pleasure to you is what feels pleasure to you, and nobody else have a say so in it. So again, like we talked before, it's up to us to express that, to let express that to ourselves and give ourselves what we need, but also when in having sex with other people, to express to them what is it that we want and what is it that we need and how we like it. But as Carolyn was saying, it started with you. It's starting with us. Like, I need to know what I like before telling somebody else to give me what I like.
Absolutely. It's so important. It is paramount to your desire, to your sexual pleasure, that you know what you like and what you don't like. And when taking that initiative in your intimate relationships to say, that's not comfortable for me, or that does not bring me desire, that's powerful for you to be able to do that. When you can speak up for your own desires in the moment and say, can we do this instead?
Hmm.
You know, I think we do ourselves such a disservice when we think we understand what the other person wants. We do ourselves a disservice and we do them a disservice, because and then we get into this whole play of, can I say something about it? Should I say something about, is it going to ruin the mood? Is it going to do all of these things?
Right.
But think about it this way. Do you want to have that experience of your own pleasure? And do you want to give that experience of pleasure to the other person? And if that's the desire, then absolutely you need to speak up about it.
100%. And in a dating world, as just become this like interview thing, like
Mm.
what you like and what you do and where you go and da-da-da. And I'm like, we are dating. It's supposed to be fun in my mind, but that's what I want. And maybe the other people that have so many questions about favorite color and what degrees and where you went for school and whatever, that's what they want to know, right? So that's why there's a whole world to date, and some are match and some are not.
Right.
But thinking about the satisfaction and the pleasure is just that flirtation that everybody's talking about, that when people get married and it's like, oh, it's not like when we are dating. Like, why not? And
Right.
it's just make my heart sing when I go to a date and it's transforming into an interview, and I'm like, oh, we already skipped the dating part. We are like behaving like old married couple and like check
Right.
check check boxes. I'm like, I'm not doing that. Like, it's such a
Yeah.
turn off for me. It's like,
Yeah.
it's such a turn off. Like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm here to flirt. I'm here to be intrigued. I'm here to be seduced and seduce. Like, that's the game, and that's what I want for the rest of my life, and that's what I'm doing, and that's the partner that I'm gonna have or I have, and that's what, nothing less than that will be satisfying for me, and I won't
Exactly.
settle for nothing less than that.
And it's powerful in that space. It's so powerful. Yes, I want to be seduced. And yes, I want to feel, the passion of our chemistry together. And yes, I want to give you the same pleasure that you are giving to me. But we have to be able to talk about it for so long. For so long, I blocked and said no, and you can't, and don't see me, don't touch me there, set a mood that I really never even needed, all of these things to feel okay with just being intimate. And even beyond that was like, there was all this giggling involved because I wasn't comfortable with myself and it wasn't fun, and all of these things, until one day it was like, that changed. All of it changed when I stepped into my body image, is when it really truly
That's
changed.
it. That's it.
Yeah. And but when we do this and when we accept that part of ourselves, you want nothing less.
You are nothing less, and not that settle for less than what you want and what you desire.
Mhm.
It's always more and up from here, right? We are here to
Exactly.
evolve and to expand. We are not here to go backwards. Not that we can go backwards, it's impossible,
Right.
really.
And we don't have to be an old married couple ever in a relationship. Sonia and I have been together for 20 years, and our intimacy is so different than it used to be. And it's when we connect on a very intimate level, there's a completely different feel around that connection. We are by no means an old married couple.
Right. But that's the thing, and I think that's what the secret is. If I learn anything throughout 3 marriages and 3 divorces, is that it's getting better and better. And the key is like I am getting better and better. I am getting more and more into my body and more in loving myself and more knowing what I want and what I desire. So that being said, the standards are going higher and higher. But it's never the fear that, oh, I'm not gonna meet my whatever, the one or whatever, the one or the more, because at this point, like all the rules are off the window. I'm here for the rest of my life to experience pleasure with people that I choose, how I choose it, when I choose it, for as long as I choose it, because it is my damn life. I'm the first in my damn line, and all the things that we talked so far, right?
Yes.
And surprisingly, as soon as I step into that, what really shocked me for a minute, and when I say a minute, was actually a couple days, was to recognize that what I wanted was just a pure erotic relationship. And I was like, no, you can't be doing that. You're supposed to commit. You're supposed to move in with the man, marry the man, because that's what I've been doing. Like the
Right.
man, fall in love with the man, marry the man, move with the man, divorce the man. Over and over again.
Right.
But it's like, wait a minute. And I see that. I see how that is just makes sense. I want to just have a family and have children and build a family, and that's great. But that doesn't apply to me anymore. I'm mid 40s. I'm by myself. I the level of freedom, it's totally different. I have no interest in having more children, and it's just what's left. What's left? It's exactly what I want. It's just fun and joy and pleasure and like that trust of I get to ask for everything and my partner say yes, and same vice versa. Or, oh, I never tried that. Are you willing? I'm willing. It's always yes. It's always yes. And that's a freaking turn on when everything gets yes, and let's just go for it and just be honest about it. But the main intention is pleasure.
Yes.
2 adults, or 3 or 4, whatever the case may be, just having pleasure.
Yeah. When we move into that space, we release all of the other expectations that are going on around in our world. You know, our society expects us to do things in a certain way, but when we get to this space in our lives, the kids are grown. You know, they have lives of their own. Even if they don't have lives of their own yet, even if they're still small, why can't you have your pleasure at the same time? You know, we box ourselves in so many spaces and in so much of our time that if we just let it go, how much more pleasure would you be having in your day-to-day life? You know,
Yeah.
would you wake up 20 minutes earlier just to have an orgasm before you have to go to a power meeting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon? You know, would you come home earlier from a busy day at work because you desire to be with this other person? Would you drop everything at a dinner that you're on for a date and just say, we need to get out of here and let's just go experience this? You know,
Yes, 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 and yes.
exactly. And when we're saying yes to all of those things, we're just feeding that desire. And we've
Right.
talked a lot about desire and a lot about self-love and a lot about putting ourselves first. This is the very basics of putting yourself first. Know you, know your pleasure, know your desire, and say yes to it as many times as you possibly can.
100%. It's one thing. At some point I talked with my kid about sex, and I don't know, throughout the years, but was one point when I say it's very simple. Sex is great. You should have it every day. If you like it, ask for more. If you don't like it, have a conversation about it. If that goes nowhere, walk away. And I literally, if that's a formula, if you need the formula, I could apply that to everything. I like it, I want more. I don't like it, I walk away. I like it, I want more. I don't like it, I'm out of here.
Exactly.
So, but something interesting is happening when this power of saying yes to ourselves to experience pleasure and allow ourselves, and I will say, allowed ourselves to get to the orgasm point.
Yes.
And I'm saying that because I know myself and I know others that we hold ourselves back out of that belief that, oh, then it's over. It's not. It's so much more beyond that. That you get to experience if you allow yourself to get there and then keep on going. So
Exactly.
that was a little like parentheses into what I want to say. When we say yes to ourselves, and I know we start like it started probably with the inner work and just getting into our body and love our body and allow ourselves to be naked, and then we show up for sex with self or with others, and that it's like a circle. It's feeding each other.
Yes.
As I'm loving myself, the sex is better. As the sex is better, I'm loving more my body and appreciate what's able to do and receive and give pleasure. And then I love it more, and then the sex is better, and then that makes to love my body even more. And it's like a snowball kind of thing, and it's just expanding, expanding. And at this point, I'm here to say publicly that there is no limits.
Exactly.
There is no limit. There is no inhibition. There is no insecurity. But it's all that is like just openness and expansion and just a hunger for what else is possible. Oh my God, what else is possible? Right?
Yes, when we live in that possibility, everything is possible. And I didn't really understand this. This concept has been taught over and over and over again to me. But it's like when we stop limiting ourselves, the possibilities open up to become endless. And they do, they feed each other. They grow with each other. They expand with each other. And as we do this and we say yes to ourselves, it's just it we free ourselves from so many things that we've been holding in for so long. And I want our women in listening to us to understand that we don't have to hold ourselves in. We don't have to be hush hush about the things that we desire. We don't need to be quiet about wanting to learn about our own bodies. We need to be expressive about these things. We need to share them with our daughters. We need to share them with our best friends. We need our Sex in the City girlfriends, to be able to go, oh my God, you wouldn't believe what I just experienced. And I can't wait to share it, because when we do this, we're releasing something from ourselves. We're taking our own experience and we're putting it out there. It's like this was so good. I just need to say, oh my God, you wouldn't believe
Yeah,
the orgasm that I had. Whatever it is, I said yes to me, and this is what happened. You
right.
know, doing that is power.
Yes, I just come back from a trip, and I talk a lot about this bear experience with people that I just met, and I love talking about sex. I always did, even in the times that I was so insecure about sex and about my own body. But I was keep drawn to this topic, right? And look, I'm no expert. Like there is no diplomas around that. But if anything, is it's just I'm okay with sharing what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling and what my experience is and what I want it to be. And it's very interesting to be into a certain group of people, men and women, different sexual orientation and sexual preferences and desires, and just observe how people react. Like they're like, oh my god, tell me more, or just like blushing and like kind of retrieving themselves, and or like admitting like, oh shit, I could never talk like you, or men just having a involuntary erection, or men that they're just like feeling off-putting for having a woman being confident talking about sex. So it was interesting. I was like, everybody gets to have their own experience, and everybody gets to receive and perceive from where they're at. So I'm sharing that because I want to believe that our listeners and viewers, we don't know where they are on their journey in relationship with sex and orgasms. And I just want to tell you all that where you are, it's perfect. And
Absolutely
from
perfect.
where you are, you have the power to make a decision. What is it that you want to experience? And then you make that decision. You find out, as Carolyn was saying, what is it that you want? First of all, do whatever it takes to give yourself that. You give yourself that, not somebody else. Don't ask it from anybody. Don't expect it from anybody. Give it to yourself, because when you know how to be happy, because you know how to give yourself happiness and pleasure and orgasm and all that, you no longer depend of other people. So you get to be happy and please all the time.
Yes,
And then when you meet other people, they're matching that vibration. It's just fireworks.
it is fireworks.
But you're not dependable. It's unconditional. It's just bonus.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. So beautifully said.
So I think that's where we landed with this one, with the big O.
The big, I love that. The big O. Yes.
And it is our promise that we're gonna come back to it from different direction with different tools. By tools, I mean toys,
Right.
methods, and whatnot. And once again, you are invited to leave your comments, join our Facebook group, ask your questions, email us, whomever you resonate with, or it makes you feel more comfortable and safe to communicate with. Our emails and our websites are in the description. Just contact us. Find your person. We offer two of us here. If this is not it, join the group. There are other people there. You might connect with somebody there, and let's just all experience pleasure and satisfy our desires and have as many orgasms as possible.
Multiple orgasms are good.
I will have you, Carolyn, close us for today while I'm enjoying this drink.
Okay, well, as always, we're so honored to have you join us here for these conversations and to keep the conversation going with us. So until our next big O, cheers to all of you.
Cheers, everyone. We will love to hear from you. What inspired you? What triggered you? And what interests you?
Do you have questions? Perfect. Get your answers in our Q&A sessions in the Bear Experience Facebook group.
There are many ways for you to join the conversation. You could leave your comments or you could email us.
We can't wait to have you back. Till then, be Bear.
Beautiful, authentic, real, and ever evolving.